We are now joined by UFC strawweight Kay Hansen. Kay, thank you very much for joining us today.
Hey,
We'll take the first question from Jay Anderson with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hey, thanks very much. Welcome back, Kay.
thank you.
Coming into your sophomore fight here, is the feeling any different from that debut back in June?
Yes and no. I feel like it's different because, I had a full camp this time and I kind of got to like plan for an opponent and it wasn't so last minute, but also it's fight week, so fight week is fight week for me and I'm excited either way. So it's a little different, but it's still fight week. So I'm excited.
And I mean, lots is being made about the ages of the fighters in this between you and Corey. Your combined age is several years less than Anderson Silva, who just fought. Do you feel people are focusing on that a little too much and maybe overlooking some of your accomplishments?
Yes and no. I mean, people are gonna focus on whatever they want to focus on, We both are like very young prospects, but we're both very promising, and I feel like um, our age is kind of interesting, considering like how promising we both are. So it makes sense that people are focusing on that. Um, and I don't necessarily mind it, but either way, I'm gonna go in there and do, what I need to do. So.
And just give us your thoughts on the matchup with Corey. Obviously, you might have the edge in the submission side. Are you looking to take this to the ground?
I'm looking to keep this wherever it goes. I'm not forcing anything this fight. I'm just gonna let things, play out how they play out. I feel like we're both young, we're both well-rounded, but I feel like I'm a little sharper everywhere, whether it's on the feet or on the ground. So I'm looking forward to wherever it goes. And like I said, I'm just gonna let things come natural. I'm confident wherever it ends up.
And last one for me. I mean, when it comes to younger fighters coming in, there seems to be a bit of an obsession with beating that John Jones record as the youngest champ. I know Macy Barber's got the countdown clock on her phone. Do you have any sort of milestone that you're looking to hit by a certain age?
Not necessarily. I mean, it'd be awesome, and I think if I do what I can do and what I'm capable of, I'll get there. But for me, I'm just focused one fight at a time. I'm here for the long run. I'm here to be one of the best. I'm here to be the cowboy, to be the Justin Gaethje. I want to be a champion and I want to be respected. So, one fight at a time, I'm gonna climb to the top of the strawweight division, and that's all I'm focused on.
All right, best of luck this Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Mike Bond with USA Today. Your line is open.
Okay, I know you're just talking a little bit about the age and stuff, but if you look at your two fights so far, I believe Jin was like 14 years older than you, and that was one of the biggest age discrepancies. And now we have the youngest combined age in a fight. What kind of matchup do you prefer? Do you prefer fighting like a veteran who's been around and has more experience, or someone who now has less fights than you?
To me, it doesn't matter. And I was just talking about this yesterday. It's kind of weird because I feel like I'm in this weird middle ground where like I am like a young up and coming prospect, but I also feel like I'm kind of a vet of the game too. This is like my 12th pro fight, and like I've experienced a lot in these 12 fights, and I've also had some like pro boxing matches, and I've competed a lot in jujitsu, and like I know I'm young and I've only been in the sport for 5 6 years, but I feel like I'm kind of a combination of both. So for me, I don't really mind what I get, whether it's another like young up and comer or if it's like a veteran, because I feel like I'm kind of in the middle and I can play both sides, and I'm confident in like my skill and my like fight IQ and stuff.
Yeah, do you think maybe that's an advantage you have in this fight? Like you guys might be the same age, but it seems like you're maybe a little older and fight years.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I have the advantage everywhere, if I'm being honest. Like Corey's great. I think she's promising too, but yeah, I feel like I do have the edge in experience, Even like not as many like not even counting like as many fights as I have, but like if you just look at what I've been through in those fights, I've been cut, I've been bloodied, I've lost, I've been beaten for almost all 3 rounds and then pulled it out the last 10 seconds. Like I've been through a lot in my 12 fights, and I feel like that for sure gives me an edge.
Any idea if anyone's placing some large bets on you for this fight?
Eh, I feel like I've got a lot of messages, like I've seen a lot of messages like saying that, and I feel like last time, when the guy placed that big one, it kind of like set this like, oh, well, I'm gonna do that every time with people. So I've seen a couple, but I mean, it doesn't make a difference to me. Like, it doesn't add any pressure or affect me in any way, because the way I look at it, it's like that's your money. Like, if you want to bet it, that's on you. Like, I don't know. Some people bet a lot of money on things, and I don't get it.
Do you think in terms of your brand and trying to get your name out there, that was kind of a good thing? Because we've had well over 100 fighters make their UFC debut this year, and people are trying to find ways to stand out, and that was definitely a bit of a storyline around your fight.
Yeah, it for sure gave like my debut a little more hype, I feel like. I remember I saw it like right before I walked out for my fight and I was just like, people are crazy. Like, why would you do that? Like, I mean, I'm confident in myself too, but I mean, I don't know. But I mean, people have followed my career, since Invicta and like I said, I think people have seen me like, like where I should have been down and out and I could pull it out, So I think and I talked to the guy a little bit. I actually ran into him at the airport after my fight, like by coincidence. And I talked to him and he said he had followed my career a little bit with Invicta and he knew like he had confidence in me. So I'm not super surprised that people are betting, but I am surprised at the amount they're betting. But either way, I did think it helped to like hype my debut a little bit.
For sure. Great. Well, looking forward to seeing you back. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Damon Martin with MMAfighting.com. Your line is open.
When you had your debut, it was such a crazy experience, short notice, stepping in, and afterwards you talk about the bet. But another thing that happened after your fight, and you hadn't even really had a chance to react to it because you were, I think it was like literally right after the fight, was Ronda Rousey taking notice of your performance. I know it's been some time since then, but what does it mean to you when you're making your debut and there's no guarantee, there's going to be a lot of attention, but when you get somebody like Ronda, an icon of the sport, paying attention to your win, like what does that mean to you as a young athlete?
It means a lot. Yeah, I remember after my fight, Megan Olivier was interviewing me, and she was like, "Oh, did you see Ronda's tweet?" And I was like, "No, I haven't got a chance to go on my phone." And like, it's super cool because Ronda, like, she set such a good like path. I feel like along with a lot of other women, of course. But like for me, like everyone kind of, I've told the story a few times, but like she's the reason I started fighting. I watched her versus Betch Correia, and I was like, "Whoa, like I got to do this," So it was super cool, getting that credit and like also finishing a fight in like a similar fashion to how she finishes, because she is the reason that like I started in the sport. So it was really cool to see, that little bit of recognition from her.
Are you able to like kind of geek out at a moment like that and kind of enjoy it because now people are looking up to you? You're going to have young girls looking at you and saying, "I want to be the next Kay Hansen." But do you get a minute to kind of be a fan for a second and just say, how awesome that was that somebody that meant so much to you was paying attention to your fight?
It's hard for me because I've always kind of had a hard time soaking everything in because I'm such like I try to like look for what's next, what's next, what's next. And that's what I've like been trying to focus on lately is like living in the moment. So I feel like even with my whole UFC debut, like it all happened so fast and like everything happened so crazy that like I feel like I didn't even get to really take it in. So like that's what I've been trying to work on is like living in the moment, taking each moment in. But it's so hard because like I said, I feel like my mind is just wired like what's next, what's next, what's next. And that mindset has like helped me get where I am. But I'm trying to find this balance because I didn't really get to like I don't feel like I enjoyed the moment as good as I should have when it came to like my whole debut. So that's what I'm trying to focus on. And hopefully like this time around, it'll be a little different.
I know a lot of people are bringing up the age thing, and I hate to ask one more question about that,
Yeah, I
but
don't mind.
considering the experience you have, though, we see a lot of fighters when they come in very young, they face a little bit of adversity the first time, and
Yeah.
I'll say they fall apart, but we see them struggle. Do you feel like you're not the typical 21-year-old fighter? You're not, somebody we're saying you're so young in the sport because of all the experience you have.
Yeah, I kind of pride myself on, being like I said, like kind of a vet of the sport already at 21. I know I'm really young, but like I said, like I've been through some stuff in my fights. I've been cut multiple times. Like I've lost in horrible fashion. I've lost close fights. I've won close fights. I've won in great fashion. Like I've been all over the spectrum with all my fights, and it's helped me grow like not only as like a fighter, but like as a person. So I feel like I'm not your average 21-year-old, even like outside of fighting. I've been through a lot like in and out of the in and out of the cage like when it comes to my life. So for me it's like I don't feel like I'm a typical 21-year-old. So people are geeking out about the age and like I said, I think it's super cool, especially now that we're on the main card. Like I think it's super cool, two like young up and coming promising athletes fighting each other. Like I think it's awesome. But I do think I'm not the average 21-year-old, especially when it comes to fighting.
And last thing for me, you kind of mentioned it earlier, long term, you think championships and things like that, but you mentioned the kind of attitude of like that cowboy Gaethje kind of attitude. In an ideal world, would you like to be that active fighter? We saw it this year with Kevin Holland. He's just about to have his 5th fight this year. We all know the cowboy mentality, the Neil Magny mentality, wanting to fight, every other week if possible. Would that be like the perfect situation for you?
So my whole career, like if you followed my career, you'd know this, but like I know there's a lot of people who are new to me, so people are gonna get to know this about me. Like this is the first official camp I feel like I've ever had. Like all my fights have been 3 weeks or less notice. Like I love short notice fights. Like I'm like I don't know. I like camps because it's cool because you get to see like your progression, you get to plan for a specific opponent. But like the way I look at it is like your skill set should be able to beat anyone at any time, and you should have that like because I train the same in and out of camp no matter what. I'm in the gym all the time. Like I don't have like an out of camp like training schedule. It's all the same for me. So for me, like short notice fights are cool because like you just go. Everything you get such a rush and you just go and it's what you got right now, like the best you have against, the best they have. So I love short notice fights and I love staying active. So for me that's ideal. Like I said, I loved having a camp. It was cool, but like something about short notice fights like will always have a place in my heart.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll take our final questions from Gabriel Gonzalez with Cage Side Press. Your line is open.
Hey, Kay, so, a lot of my other ones were already taken, but I did want to ask, because you had the great debut with the guy who bet the money, with the Ronda Rousey and everything, is there pressure? Like, how do you separate it? Because obviously you have all that great stuff happen in the first one. I'd assume you go in and it's like, well, how do I top that?
I have no like pressure on me whatsoever to top anything. I didn't feel pressure my debut either. I just kind of did me. And I feel like that's all I need to do is just do me. I'm not worried about topping, my last performance. I'm not worried about getting someone to bet on me. I'm not worried about getting someone to give me a shout out. Like I love this stuff. And I'm coming here to fight, and that's all I want to do, and I'm excited to do that. So I have no pressure on myself for trying to, one up myself from my last time. Like I'm just trying to be a better fighter in the cage. Whether that's a 3-round decision or, first round finish, like for me, I just want to be the best me I can be. So I'm not putting any pressure on myself.
Going back to the age and with Cory McKenna, I mean, you guys are kind of on similar paths. You did your thing in Invicta. She did her thing in Cage Warriors.
Yeah.
I mean, look, very honest, not every young prospect gets off to this great start. So just in terms as a fellow competitor, what do you think of how she's developed in a short time?
I honestly can't tell you that because I don't watch much tape. I kind of let my coaches do that. I'm mostly worried about myself. Like I said, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself, and I feel like, my skill set should be able to be anyone of any other skill set. And if it doesn't, then I have to go back and do more work. And I have confidence in myself and my skill set. So for me, I don't really know. I can't tell you her record. Like, I know a little bit about her, but like, I haven't watched every fight. Like, I haven't watched any like full fight. I trust my coaches and I leave that up to my coaches, and I'm just worried about me and what I'm doing. So, I think, like I said, I do think I have the edge in experience and, in like having to overcome adversity. But, I don't know necessarily how she's developed as an athlete. I'm expecting the best Cory McKenna that, she has, and I hope I get the best Cory McKenna that she's ever been. She's gonna get the best me, and I don't want nothing but the best version of someone. So
My final question, so you're just starting out your UFC career, but there's a lot of fun stuff the UFC does. There's Fight Island. There's obviously getting to be on a big pay-per-view with some of these big names that attract a lot of attention. I mean, set out your goals. What's something you would like to do next? Do you want to fight on a particular person's undercard? Do you want to travel when it opens up?
I want to take any opportunity I'm given. I want to go to the top, and I trust the UFC and I trust myself and I trust my camp to help me get there. And, I'd love to, get a top 15 opponent next. I'd love to, work my way to the top. I'd love to be the co-main event. I'd love to be the main event. This is my dream. So I'm here to live it, so whatever that comes with, I'm here for the ride, and I trust everyone that's in my circle. So
Hey, thank you, Kay. Good luck.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Kay. You're all set.
Thank you.